Hi everybody. So in the last video, all we had left to do for the left flap was to do all the pop rivets for the back skin and then do the trailing edge. Thanks to my dumb ass, the footage for doing the back the back skin pop riveting is gone. Not that that's a big loss, but yeah. Anyway. So I just removed the clecos and installed pop rivets. That's all I really did. The way I did it, of course, is I do it from the edge of the leading skin out towards the trailing edge each time, and start from the middle ribs and then move outward. That way it's symmetrical and minimizes any oil canning, and it turned out pretty good. So here we are, and we are not back riveting. We're back riveting the trailing edge of the flap. I'd realized that I should just put all the rivets in there at once and tape them down, and it made this thing just fly by. Now, I've talked about doing the trailing edge before, and one of the modifications I've made, so Vans always says, okay, you need a flat rivet set for that, and it should be small. I don't use the small one. I use the big one because I don't want to miss it. And they say to turn down the pressure on your air compressor so that it takes a full 3 seconds to buck the rivet. So the very first time I did that with the rudder, that worked perfectly fine. I've found that I do just fine at a higher pressure. I actually wind up getting a smoother double flushed rivet that way. So instead of normally it would be like 20 pounds of pressure. Well, let me just back up. So a normal size 3 rivet would be about 40 pounds. I like to keep that about 40 to 43 pounds. For the trailing edge work, I was dropping it to 20 pounds. Now that I've practiced it, though, I'm fully capable. I actually do it back at a full 45. Takes me less time. I've done it a bunch of times. I wouldn't suggest starting that way, but that's just for me. So anyway, that was the end of the left flap. So I had worked on all of the pieces at once up to a certain point, and I'd mentioned this before. I'll go ahead and do all the left and right stuff all at once until I wind up having a mishap with the mirroring, as everything is mirrored left and right, and I did that right at about the time before we were going to mock up the left flap. So what I did was, at that point, I took all the right pieces and I put them on a shelf and forgot about them until now. So now what I'm doing is mocking up the right flap, and then all I have to do is deburr the main ribs, well, which is what I'm doing now. I'm basically doing all the deburring work. Do the rest of the deburring work, prime, dimple, and then assemble. Now, what you can't tell is I made a giant oops. If you notice, the flap hinges are 2-piece, and those are the horns that stick down beneath the flaps. And the 2 pieces you wind up match drilling and double flush riveting together. However, I picked the left and the right flap side, and if you notice, if you can see the 2 flanges that wind up getting riveted together, you'll notice that they don't actually meet. They actually go outward. I had picked the wrong pieces. And once I realized what I had done, which will be soon, I just sighed my head and went home for lunch. The only way to flip them is I have to tear down the entire flap, which took me about 20 minutes, and you'll see me do that later. So yeah, the mock-up of the flap, the basic premise is once everything's done, you put the trailing edge in place, and you do the match drilling of the trailing edge. You do, or I should say final drill. Then you do the match drilling for the front nose ribs. There's a couple of places that need to get drilled. And it's around one of the flanges that can be fluted, so you don't want to do that until after the fluting's done, and that's what we're doing here. Anyway, just going to keep prepping, and in the next, yep, that's when I just realized that I'd screwed up, and that's when I went home. So anyway, see you in the next video.